Alright, so I'm recording this mostly as a record of my own thought process. I live in eastern Kentucky, around the Pike County area. I know that the general consensus isn't so much so that Bigfoot, Sasquatch is so much in this area. That would be wrong, but I do believe there is more of a general focus of spots west of Lexington, especially if you get towards the Ohio River. I plan to look into the Green River area that forks into the Ohio. It's about 320 miles of waterway. Approximately, I think is what I looked it up. I think it was like 320 miles, something like that. It starts very central Kentucky, goes very western Kentucky. If you follow that particular river in conjunction with a lot of sightings that happen here in the state of Kentucky, you would kind of draw the same conclusion that possibly working along that waterway would be one of the most prime spots. I've been to Whitesburg, I've been to Pine Mountain, I've been to Jenny Wiley, I've been to Paintsville, I've went to I don't really know. I tried to draw like a 100-mile radius map around my house, and then started there, looking up past experiences and stuff through the BFRO, which I'll get into very shortly, and my feelings so much towards that organization. I'm going to start with Sasquatch, in my opinion, is a flesh and blood creature. I'm not going to submit to the idea that it's interdimensional or that it's some sort of alien thing. I've never experienced that. I'm out in the woods a lot. I've never directly experienced anything that I would say was concurrent enough to pin it on that's exactly what it was. I've never had what they would describe as a Class A sighting, so that it would be like you actually saw the damn thing. I've heard the sticks break, tree branches break, rocks thrown, whatever. I've never heard like a whoop call or something to that effect. I do want to state that I very much so believe this creature does exist. And there's been a lot of sightings. The reason I draw to like central west of Lexington area, you tend to pull into the land between the lakes area, and that's where everybody tends to say they saw something. There's something out there. I need to go right. I'm in the wrong area like an idiot.
Head southwest on Kentucky 302 South. Turn right onto Kentucky 302 South, Water Gap Road. In 800 feet, turn left onto Veterans Street.
So anyway, listen to like a lot of reports and stuff like that, Sasquatch Chronicles, or any sort of podcast, or eyewitness accounts and stuff like that. But in this area, I mean, they're very far and few in between, but a lot of people are very tight-lipped in this area. Eastern Kentucky is not really known for a place that people like to talk about their experiences and stuff. You kind of can get them going if you're like, hey, you seen a weird bear lately? Don't just lead into the, like, where's Bigfoot? I tend to think you're fucking nuts. Of course, I'm the idiot in a wide-brimmed hat. It'd be that way. So I'm just gonna dive into my thoughts on with BFRO, and it kind of starts with my feelings towards them in a sense of the show Finding Bigfoot really bothers me. The show Expedition Bigfoot really bothers me. It's great for entertainment purposes, and I know some people truly work themselves into a belief that these shows are going to find something. They might. Hell, they might. There's a lot of armchair skeptics. Very few people are willing to walk out in the woods, deep into the woods, middle of the night, and do some of this stuff. I will say that a lot of my opinion towards people being out and about, I'm not talking pulling off the side of a highway, walking 100 yards into the woods off of a highway and saying that you're in the middle of nowhere, you're deep in the woods somewhere or something, because you're not. You're not. There's a lot of uninhabited areas, mountains, forests, deep into the woods that people don't go to. People have never been. Or few go to. And for entertainment's sake, the shows are fun, I guess, in a sense. But my opinion towards it is just, it's just entertainment. It is what it is. There's very few that are actually willing to go out and put their name on the line in the sense of they want to prove something that to them exists, but to others is pseudoscience, which is cryptozoology. Some people have managed to do that. No concurrent proof, though. I push to the thought that if humanity, us, was capable of something as revolutionary as the atom bomb, what's to say another type of species wasn't capable of focusing every ounce of its energy into survival, being out in the woods, knowing every single piece of land that it walks across. It is what it is there. That's just a thought. That's not like, oh, I could prove it. No. I don't like the idea of Sasquatch has been observed doing this. It's been seen doing this. Sasquatch are known to use coyotes as hunting parties and stuff. If we have that level of evidence, the damn thing's proven. I've never seen anybody come forward and show a picture or video of a being that's large and hairy, and there's a pack of coyotes around it, and it's using it, it's weaponizing it. I've never seen that. You go deep into the woods, you can find packs of coyotes everywhere. Hell, if you're in Eastern Kentucky, you know all about that. I don't necessarily go looking for coyotes out in the middle of nowhere. It's not really my choice. But back to my thought process. Like I said, I'm not discounting the thought that this thing exists. I believe it exists. I believe we haven't found it yet. Or haven't found confirmed proof. Because there's sightings everywhere. Everywhere. Thousands of sightings. And in those thousands of sightings, how many tens of thousands of sightings never came forward or decided to report it or do any of that stuff? Because it takes several parties to do that sort of thing. You would have to come together, file a report, send the report in, get it claimed, blah, blah, blah. Probably follow up with some dude, takes down all your information, and then there you go. That's a report. Most people were probably like, that's too fucking hard. I ain't doing it. It's not easy. To that person. So why do it? Whereas there's a lot of people who do come forward, and it's specifically known to the West Coast. But I believe because people in the West Coast are more apt to go ahead and say, oh yeah, I saw the damn thing. Whereas everybody out east is like, oh, I'm not putting my name on the line. I'm not saying that. I'll lose my job. Or, people think I'm nuts. Or I'll lose my standing in the church community. Stuff like that. Because in, the span of humanity, several species of human have existed whilst other species of human have also existed. And that befuddles me because now it just immediately we're to understand that only Homo sapien exists. And that's it. That's it. Nothing else. Hundreds of thousands of years exist in a big branch, bush, tree thing all together. Except now. Now, all of them, fuck them. They're dead. We're the only ones exist. Either we really like murdering shit, which we do, or standardized science hasn't come forward and just been like, oh yeah, well, other than us, there is other shit, because that's what happens throughout humanity. Who fucking knows? I would enjoy somebody probably in the comments telling me I'm a fucking moron. I don't know. These are just some of the thoughts I have. I'm in the question everything style of belief. I'm not going to look at a blurry picture and say definitively, that's him, or it, or whatever. Because you just don't know. And nobody's ever going to know until a body's brought in and literally dumped in the Smithsonian. That's why I waste my time going out into these woods, hiking all over the place. It's December. Raining. What was I doing? Middle of the woods. Why? Trying to prove shit. Got a million other things I should be doing. Probably cleaning my house. Anywho. My take on the matter is, like I said, the only true reporting site we tend to have, you got the Kentucky BFRO for Kentuckians. I know that's totally fine. That's a thing. And then the standard BFRO site. Gotcha. As far as reporting goes, I don't know of anybody having a better search engine or anything like that to catalog all this stuff. So that's fine. What little few people we can get to come forward, talk about their experience, maybe share what happened, share what, evidence they were maybe able to collect, or talk about footprints, anything. Everything is going to keep building a case once this comes forward. I don't want to be on the other side of the argument that's calling people moronic or foolish for believing in this. because we discover stuff all the time. It's not like a new thing or a new ideology that something could potentially be in the vast unexplored forests that nobody tends to go to. And, you know, do you really want to be that dude calling everybody? Because if you're on that bandwagon and then you jump back over and you're like, oh, I believed it all the damn time. I knew it was real. You're an asshole. And I'll tell you that now. Because for prosperity's sake and the future, when it is discovered, I just wanted to tell you that you're an asshole. And yeah. So I don't know if I mean, people go with the whole idea that, you know, cave systems and they're subterranean beings and interdimensional and stuff, they warp in between. I mean, would they, if they could warp to another dimension, are they really just gonna stand around in the woods? Why? That doesn't make sense to me. Unless they're just already living there. That would make more sense to me. A flesh and blood creature, this is its habitat, this is where it lives. It makes tree structure things that we don't really fully understand. And it beds down in areas that we sort of understand. And, you know, people who have, when they had a sighting, saw it trying to catch fish, assuming, you know, or, you know, standing by a waterway. What else would it really be doing unless drinking water? But I don't know about anything else. I question the thought of, I don't know, I question the thought of people that tend to believe that side of it. I don't fully understand their thought process in the matter. Maybe they don't understand mine. Hell, I don't know. That makes a lot of sense. Like I said, this video only being created because if I fucking die or something, I don't know, just want somebody to maybe know what I thought on the matter. And stuff like that. But you take, so I followed up on a sighting that took place towards Grayson, Kentucky. Grayson Lake, I should say. There was two hikers out that had encountered, had a Class A sighting, fully encountered one, walked by a trail path or something, they actually saw it. And I believe this was in like 2020, in the middle of the pandemic, when like nobody was like doing anything. I was at home eating a mess load of pizza rolls and becoming obese. They were out hiking. Not a bad idea. But I was following up on the case and stuff and talking to some people in the area that had similar things happening. And everybody's got a weird bear story around here. Never understood that. My mother's had a weird bear story. Grandfather's had a weird bear story. Whenever they grew up on, he was growing up on his property in the farm, middle of nowhere, out in Martin County. My mom, years later, similar experience. Can't quite explain it, but I will say that it is odd that a lot of people have a very weird bear sighting around here, and they don't fully know what they saw. Pardon the cough. It's been like dry scratchiness, sinuses. Gotta love them. I don't know. I call out the validity of a lot of shows that push the matter of they truly believe they have a DNA specimen, but for whatever reason can't produce a scientifically peer-reviewed article about things like that. For entertainment's sake, bang on. I wish I had that level of money. I look crazy enough to be on one of those shows. My opinion. I could pull it off. Discovery Channel, hit me up. But you have other, places that people that do this independently. Their own time, their own dime, their own whatever. Driving out in the middle of nowhere to try to produce evidence and gather information on something that is yet to be proven. And I don't think of this the famous Patterson-Gimlin film. Of course, we got to get into that. I wholeheartedly believe it's true. If you want the best evidence for the proof of Sasquatch, that was it. Problem, shortly thereafter, all these shows, talk shows, random entertainment-based shows came out where they would interview people. And I remember watching a show where, some lady said, yeah, Sasquatch visited me every night, and he would talk to me and ask for sugar. That lady's insane. Or just wanted to be on TV. One of the two. Probably the latter. You've got people who say that, they come on these shows and then they've got this whole mindset of they understand the Sasquatch and the way its mind thinks and the way it telepathically spoke to them in a dream and told them everything. You get on these talk shows, you kill the validity instantly of that video. You just kill it dead. The best way to do something like that, how to silence that idea, have a bunch of crazy fucks come out and say, oh, yeah, Bigfoot, he went to my school. And he borrowed lunch money from me one time, and he didn't give it back. He's a jerk. People were like, okay, well, anybody that believes into this idea is just absolutely insane. Cryptozoology, called it pseudoscience. Although I find it fascinating that there are certain parts of pseudoscience, the body language interpretation and stuff through deception, lies, or whatever you want to call it, different organizations use. That's interesting to me. That's also called a pseudoscience, but it's currently practiced by governmental agencies. I don't know. That's a real thing. And then you've got problems with just all these random creatures and stuff coming out, and vampires and things. You get it lumped into one gigantic belief, and it just falls by the wayside. And so anybody who chooses to walk that path is instantly deemed a maniac or ridiculed by different people in their family or friends, who's just like, oh yeah, it's a Sasquatch guy. He's fucking crazy. He goes out in the woods and tries to find a Bigfoot. Lump all those ideas into that, and you can absolutely discount the idea that the Patterson-Gimlin film ever even was real. People were like, oh, clearly it was Bob Hieronymus. He was able to walk in that exact same pattern. The dude said he was supposed to get paid for it. And the reason he came out is because 30 years later, he never got paid. Sounds to me like a dude just wanted to get famous and get on, one of these talk shows or one of these TV shows or something like that. Just drummed up the idea because, he can do the turn and the, whatever. Again, keep feeding into the crazy side of it, and it discounts the idea. You want the best evidence for the proof of Sasquatch. That Patterson-Gimlin film is it. To this day, it can't be debunked. To this day, it can't be proven false. The two guys, which Patterson passed away quite a while back. Bob Gimlin's still alive. And that dude's going to his grave that video was solid. And he wasn't even into the idea at the time. Then he saw the damn thing. So, yeah. I don't know why people don't talk more about Ron Moorhead, the Sierra Sounds, and delving more into that and understanding what sound frequency is and things. That's what I tend to do, is I go out and I put just audio recording devices, because I think you're never going to capture something that intelligent on a video camera. It's just out in the woods. I don't think that's going to happen. If you do, you got damn lucky. But I just don't see it. That you're going to put a stationary camera out there with your scent all over it, touching every damn thing, and then be like, well, yeah, we're going to catch him. I mean, if he can smell good, and they know that you've touched, I don't know. Maybe I don't understand how scent works, but I just don't think that's going to work. My idea, I probably saw along the same lines of it ain't going to fucking work. But I will say that people have captured more audio that is very interesting to me than video. Because audio, you can trace frequencies of animals. Like, we know what a wolf sounds like and what it looks like on a spectrogram. We know what a human sounds like, and we can look at it on a spectrogram. We can follow all those frequencies, and we know what humans can produce, can't produce. All these animals, what they can and can't produce. We've recorded them all doing everything that they do. Roars and talking and back and forth and, stuff like that. And then you get really weird things that, if you can tell the distance of the animal to the microphone, which in some cases you can kind of work that math out. But I think more audio has been more helpful to I'm trying to figure out how to say that. It's been more beneficial to the idea that Sasquatch exists, and as far as like proof is concerned. Because you start recording random audio from things that we have no catalog of whatsoever, people are going to ask questions, and people are going to know why you're getting said audio from said place, from something that should never have been there, or shouldn't exist, or shouldn't be capable of existing. And I'm not talking about putting audio recorders like just off the highway or something. Like, I put these things like 10 to 12 miles out in the middle of nowhere, that like the closest human being is like probably 30 minutes away, maybe more. Pardon me, sorry. Yeah, so like I believe, that's my thought process, is like, I think audio has helped more in the way of gathering proof and evidence than video has. Like, yeah, sorry, we have great phones and stuff, but if you've ever taken a phone to a zoo or something or tried to show people, like, oh, hey, there's a zoo animal. I took pictures of bears in Gatlinburg, and like, it was right there, and my photo still kind of fucking sucks. And it was just right there, and like the best lighting and background, and like, there's the bear, and you had a whole lot of like whiteout detail, fog, trees, just the whole grayness of being deep in a forest and stuff. and it washes out an image instantly. Like, cameras are not capable of like filtering that level of whatever. I'm not a camera expert, but they just don't. People are like, oh, you got a 4K camera in your pocket. And I mean, like, if I'm taking a selfie, cool. If you're in the middle of the fucking woods, it's a whole lot different. Like, go way out in the woods and then try to, like, take a photo. Like, see a deer off in the distance, try to zoom in on it, take a photo with your fancy camera. I've got one of the new iPhones. I tried that. It's still pretty damn grainy and washed out. And you'd probably be like, well, it looks like a fake deer. There you go. Audio's not so much that way. With really good microphones and stuff, you can pick up screams, house whoops, anything like that, tree breaks, whatever, footfalls, and they're questionable. And you're building, like, the thought process of, okay, I've got something that's in this area, and it knows I'm in this area, and it doesn't really seem to care. So I'm going to keep, recording and see what I gather, and it still doesn't care. I'm just going to keep trying until I can get, some evidence. But these shows and stuff, these TV shows, they go to like an area, they talk to a guy. He's like, oh yeah, 5 years ago, I was out hunting and I saw a Sasquatch and it ran across a road where I was driving my ATV. And they're like, oh shit, they're in the area. So then they go out there in the woods for one night, scream, holler, smack trees with other trees, blast, sound calls and everything. And they're out there for one night and they're like, oh, must not be here. Well, let's go from West Virginia. Well, let's try Washington. It's like, dude, you couldn't even move 20 miles away and maybe try another spot or something? Like, give it a go? Go a couple nights. Expedition Bigfoot, I give them credit. They're actually staying in an area several days, trying to take that approach. Very much so what I'd consider the Jane Goodall approach. Go into an area, try to be as quiet as possible. I know they blast call sounds and stuff, but if you look back to the Skookum cast, those guys were able to get a cast of pretty much a large size body print of something that was, at their like gift station or bait station or whatever. And they were blasting sound calls of like what we would think would be Sasquatch noises and kid noises playing and screaming and whatever and some other stuff. And they were able to get, what we know as the Skookum cast. So I get blasting call sounds and stuff and seeing if you get something in response. But dude, these guys just like take every 15 minutes sometimes on finding Bigfoot. They're just screaming. And I'm like, dude, I would just think you're fucking crazy and leave. I don't know what Bigfoot would think. Probably the same. I think a lot of times that if you remain quiet and don't go in extremely loud and just listen to what your surroundings are, be quiet and, just observe, I think you can pull a lot more information away from an area than going in immediately and running everywhere and screaming and shining lights and, just going absolutely apeshit and saying, oh, we're trying to find evidence and stuff. No, you're trying to make a show. You're trying to make a show. That's fine. I don't mind entertainment. I love entertainment. But go forward with that approach. I get you believe in something. I get that you're there. But at the end of the day, somebody is paying you for every single season that you're choosing to make because it's getting views. And I'm not hating that. Get money. Maybe be a little bit more transparent. I'm okay with entertainment, man. But don't try to present entertainment as scientific evidence. I get very frustrated with that notion because it debunks the entire culture that's trying to work towards proof. There is a lot of independent people that do this in their own time that we don't get a fucking TV show to do what we do. And we're just one or two people trying to go out and gather evidence and stuff as best we can. I guess we would be the amateur side. Maybe getting a TV show means you're the pro side. I don't know. I think it means you just have more money than us. That's about it. Which is cool. But, you know, if I had a drone and a really shitty FLIR system and, I don't know, like spotlights and, I don't know, just random shit that they use, and just go around in the woods screaming all the time and being like, "Oh, did you hear that?" It works towards discounting the idea that this thing even exists. No matter how you believe, you tend to discount the belief. You tend to discount the culture. You know, and in a sense, it becomes very frustrating to people that are actively out there trying to prove that something exists that modern day science chooses to say doesn't. That in and of itself becomes frustrating. I love the Bigfoot community as far as a lot of the independent researchers go, because those guys get out there and bust their ass, much like myself, hike out in the middle of nowhere when we should be probably at home doing dishes or cleaning up the house or, you know, whatever. And, you know, there's always that uphill battle. And that's why it gets really frustrating to me, because anybody I talk to is just like, "Oh, well, you must really believe in that Finding Bigfoot show or Todd Standing or whatever." And it's like, dude, I'm not trying to go at it for entertainment's sake. I truly believe this thing is real. And I truly believe that there are more of them than we're willing to talk about. And I truly believe there are more sightings than ever get reported. Because it would be so insulting if, say, you were a hunter that's watching this right now. You're a deer hunter. And you go out and you start spotting an area because you want to figure out where is the best place to hunt when deer season hits. Because most people, if they're really avid hunters, they go and scout these areas in advance. You don't just, you know, if you're out, especially bow hunters. Bow hunters are a different breed of people. Those people are insane. Because, like, camoed out and they'll just walk forever. Scout, searching, everything. Anyway, but say, so say you were out and you saw a deer. And you came up to me and you were like, "Dude, it's insane. I was in the woods and I saw a deer." I'd have been like, "Nah, must have been a stump." "No, I'm telling you, I saw a deer." "Nah, probably a bear." "No, it had horns, man. It was clearly a deer." Best I could say is probably a 4-foot tall possum with a tree branch that fell on its head. That's best I can do. You're clearly mistaken in the things that you see. You'd be insulted because I'd be questioning your intelligence. I would be questioning, like, you in the sense of you're too fucking dumb to know what the hell it is you saw. I'm not saying that some people aren't mistaken because they see from like several hundred yards a black bear or something, or a brown bear standing up on its legs and moving over a very short period. I'm not saying that doesn't happen. But some of these people have like right up close encounters with stuff they can't explain, or they hear it chattering, or they're talking, and they know what they saw wasn't a bear. But if you had the audacity to just look at him and be like, you know, that thing you saw walking, it must have been a stump. Or it must have been, you know, a bear. Or a 4-foot tall possum. Who knows? That would be probably the most insulting thing that you could say to somebody, especially like that truly believes they know what they saw. They're not idiots. People are not stupid. that are talking about this stuff. The problem is people don't want to come forward because they're going to instantly be branded that way. And the culture is that it's all for entertainment's sake. So now it's just people who want to get on TV. And that's the problem. Now you don't know what's true, what could be faked or hoaxed or whatever. It doesn't matter. It makes TV. If you've got a good story, you can act, you can talk, whatever. It makes good TV, entertainment. You start to dilute the narrative, shit gets gray, and then nobody really knows what to follow anymore. And it gets really annoying. Because there are some people that are genuinely out there working their ass off to prove that this exists. And there's other people who are just getting a paycheck from another source to fake a bunch of shit and get money. And it's beyond annoying to me. That's the end of my rant as far as the BFRO and some of these shows are concerned in search of Destination Truth. There's a bunch of them. It makes great entertainment. Mountain Monsters. It makes great entertainment, man. And there's nothing wrong with that. You know, we need stuff to watch on TV because people get bored. And I love the idea that, you know, people want to get behind that and, you know, just watch it and stuff. Yeah, it's fine. Just, I wish that there was an ideology that, like, it was to come at that, okay, this isn't for scientific research. This is for your entertainment. You know, pick a side of the lane. It's fine. Nobody's going to be offended if you tell me that your Sasquatch documentary is solely based on entertainment. That's cool. You know, if you can make something that's compelling and fun, cool. I'm not opposed to that. To get paid for it, even better. Make money. Don't market it as something that is scientific or that you are truly out there trying to discover something when in fact reality is the producers had you faking something the entire time. Because that kills me. Kills my soul. Like I said, I'm going to move on from that. I get worked up. I'll talk about it for hours. But I do truly believe that this is a flesh and blood creature. I believe that with literally everything in me, that there's no way it's interdimensional or an alien or all this other stuff, or, you know, what have you. I'm not going to come out and say that, you know, oh, I know exactly what kind of species it is or how it's in relation to us and stuff, because no one knows. No one knows that. You know, the bottom line is, and, you know, it sucks, but the very first one that gets put down, I feel sorry for, in a sense, because that's the only way it's ever going to be proven. Somebody is going to have to down one, load it into their car, make mock damage to the Smithsonian, call a shitload of people that are reporters, and dump the body on the front steps of the Smithsonian Museum and say, there's your proof. Now tell me what the hell that is. That's the only way we're going to get by it. I like how people have kind of softened up to the idea of UFOs, how that shit used to be the biggest blunder. Oh, you believe in UFOs? Where's your tinfoil hat? You're fucking nuts. Now the U.S. Navy and a bunch of Air Force people are coming out and be like, oh yeah, here's some photos of some shit. We don't even know what the fuck it was. But it's like, damn, they were right. If we're cool with the ideas of UFOs existing, even though that was whack-ass science not even a decade ago, I don't get the idea that there's no way a Sasquatch could even exist. When these same exact people who choose not to believe in anything don't get up off their recliner and do shit. You know, walk out 10, 12 miles, middle of nowhere. Find the most remote place you can in your area. If you got the balls to, walk out there. Walk deep into those woods. See what you find. I'm not saying you're going to find it immediately, but I would say this: there is more in your backyard than you probably know of. And everybody's got stories across every single state about fish and wildlife saying, oh, big cats don't exist here. Oh, we don't have wolves in this area. Oh, we don't have bears in this area. You know, whatever. And I would love to talk to somebody from Fish and Wildlife and ask them how they come up with that idea. Not questioning the fact of like, oh, they're idiots and they're lying to us. Like, that's not my take on it. There has to be some sort of procedure that they follow through to determine if something is in an area or not in an area. If it's like, okay, well, you know, it's a border county and it's like, okay, well, you know, this state doesn't have these animals, and it's like a border county to another state where it happens to have those animals, and then those animals make a den right on that other side of that border, and their span is, say, a 20-mile radius that goes into that other state where they would hunt and gather food, then yeah, I get the idea of like, it's not necessarily to this state, but it's based off the span of what the animal itself may move. Okay. It might be something as simple as that people don't understand what Fish and Wildlife's even talking about when they go at these answers, you know. Then again, I could be totally wrong. There could be an answer for that, and I'm just a fucking retard. Somebody was trying to call me. I didn't know who that was. Anywho. Yeah, I think as far as my rambling goes, that's pretty much it. I think that there's just a lot more in this area that people haven't fully gathered, especially where I'm at. Come spring, I do plan to go investigate down the Green River. I'm going to try to camp out and see how far down I can go. If I can make it all the way to the Ohio River. At least a good ways. On boat. I'm not doing it on foot. Fuck that. I'm going to go on boat. Just all the way down the river. Get my John boat and let's roll. Use my trolling motor, try to be as quiet as possible. Move right in there. I'll set up some of my cameras. Maybe I'll set up some audio recording equipment and stuff. We've got some little, I don't even remember the name of those. They're pretty good. I got the idea from Driftless Area Sasquatch on YouTube. I think he just goes by Driftless now. Smart dude. Gathers a lot of audio. Follow a lot on Bob Gimlin. Not the guy from the Patterson Gimlin film. The other dude, Bob Gimlin with the GY. I like his ideas. I listen to Sasquatch Chronicles because I absolutely love hearing people's side of the story. I want to hear what people have to say. Whether I agree or disagree doesn't matter. I enjoy hearing people's side of the story because everybody has something they want to say and it deserves to be heard. I will say that if you see this video, if you've made it this far, thank you for listening to me ramble about my own thoughts. Mostly this was just me posting my ideas, how I kind of felt on the subject, but for my catalog's sake, I guess. But anyway, if you ended up watching it, hey, cool, thank you. It means a lot. Let me know what you think in the comments. Tell me I'm a moron. I don't care. I'd love to hear anybody's side of the story. If you found it interesting, if you want to hear me talk about different subjects, I plan to break down more of a lot of sightings that have happened in Kentucky specifically. I've got a 3-foot by 4-foot kind of corkboard map of Kentucky for push pins and stuff, and I want to go down each county and stuff and categorize every sighting that's been in Kentucky that's at least on the KYBFRO, and then I'll match that to make sure it goes in line with, you know, everything else that's really reported and stuff. And, you know, we could do some interviews, or, you know, I would love to hear your side or something that you've experienced. No ridicule. I'm tired of people being so tight-lipped about this and feeling like they can't talk. Because there's a lot of people like that. But also, you know, if you want anonymity, cool. I have to say your name. I just enjoy hearing the story. I don't even have to record it. I just want to hear what you have to say. Or comment. And just say, hey, you're a fat loser, nobody likes you. That's cool too. But if you made it this far, thank you. Take care. Be safe.